The skyline, baby, let the truth come rushing in. Though you lay your heart go anywhere to seek what might have been. Now that all the waiting's over, don't know what I would get. To hide among the bygone shadows where I end and you begin. Because there's never been a better time to be alive.
Welcome. Today is September 4th. It's Wide Awake News by Charlie McGrath. This is Wednesday. It is our new schedule, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific, and 9 p.m. GMT. I am happy to be here. I guess maybe happy isn't the right word. I am actually distraught that I have to be here telling us what we really already know, reminding us of just what is happening in this world of ours as we look again toward war with all of the traitors who have titles pounding on this as they war profiteer in the background and care nothing for the people they slaughter. The Nobel Peace Prize winner, boy is that a joke, who kills 50 innocent people with every drone strike, but it's okay because he's determined that they're out of line. They're wrong. It's their fault. Well, it is our fault. Collectively, it is our fault. And so today, I want you to know that my heart tells me murder is immoral. And until we collectively realize that nothing is more important than stopping not only that, but all the other immoral, harmful practices destroying our world, then we will encounter more of the same. For is it not immoral to postpone addressing these atrocities when they occur? And is this not the bridge that we must cross in order to realize the true shift in consciousness? For as those who perpetrate these atrocities look for profit and lining things up just as they envision, are we not also in our own way doing the same thing by postponing our reaction until we are better prepared? And wouldn't it be better to unite beforehand and take this into our control as opposed to waiting until they force us into a total world of tyranny where no longer do we have the choice of going to our job for just over broke, but the emergency happens, the false flag that's headed our way? Wouldn't it be better to do it to them so that they're not going to do it to us? That is my thought, or those are my thoughts. And I'm going to continue to rant here. If you've got a thought, I'd really like to hear from listeners as to why we are not immoral by postponing action. And what is our true reaction, and who and what are we working for? And in the meantime, I'm going to read from some of the articles that are around. And actually, okay, Brett, I see you got the Hillary video ready. Okay, I want us to listen to this because there are a lot of people out there now who are pretending or trying to believe that voting will make a difference. And here is the criminal, horrible person who they think should lead the not-so-United States. Will you play this clip of Hillary, please, Brett?
So, I mean, that is the land of unconfirmed.
Yes, we came, we saw, he died.
Did it have anything to do with your visit?
No, I'm sure it did.
There, the presidential candidate for 2016, laughing about Gaddafi's torture and death as she sits there in all of her gross obesity, pretending that she actually gives a damn when all she gives a damn about is her money. She is openly on record talking about taking orders from the Council of Foreign Relations. She is a traitor, as are all of the people in political office, in my opinion, because you can't get to be a politician unless you're backed by the money and you're forced to compromise. And on that note, I believe that we ought to know that according to nationalpriorities.org, or actually it used to be thecostofwar.com, now it's nationalpriorities.org. The cost of war in Afghanistan since 2001. Every hour, taxpayers in the United States are paying $10.45 million for the cost of war in Afghanistan since 2001. In Iraq, every hour, taxpayers in the United States are paying $824,328 for the cost of war in Iraq since 2003. The total cost of war since 2001 are costing the United States $11.26 million per hour. $11.26 million per hour. Now, how does that sound to you parents out there who are looking at the cutbacks in education? How does it sound to you parents out there who are looking at the cutbacks in the care for the military veterans who are coming back so sick that 22, supposedly by suicide, die every day, and ignoring the drug contradictions? How does that sound to those of you who were kicked out in the fraudulent MERS foreclosure gate and lost your homes due to the fact that the bankers need to make more money and we need to have everything we can do to support that, you know? The Joint Chiefs of Staff need to arrest Obama. Horsewife, I agree, although I think they need to arrest themselves and step down. I think we all need to step down. As a matter of fact, okay, here, this is from John Rappaport from his blog. He wrote this on September 4th. The Godfather saga is clear on one point. The world of mob has no exit. Michael Corleone takes his family deeper and deeper into destruction. Why? First of all, the Corleone life is a crime. They cheat, lie, steal, intimidate, and murder. No matter how attractive they are, that's what they do. It's a source of their wealth. In my opinion, this is not from the article. That's exactly what our government does. Back to the article. From that foundation, they venture out in the world and they find enemies, competing families. They try to broker peace and sign treaties, or they can attack. Michael chooses to attack. He has his reasons. They make practical and emotional sense, but eternal war is just about that. There is no turning back. It may seem to Michael that he's being pulled back in over and over, but it's his choice and his game and his territory and his actions that shape his fate and bring about the death of his family. There are always new enemies and old ones too. Sollozzo, Barzini, and behind him, Hyman Roth, the kingpin. Roth isn't enough. The war has to be taken to the Vatican and its money machine. Michael is like one of the late Roman emperors wielding the sword at the end of the line after the nation has already sealed its fate by opting for imperial empire and conquest. The lethal blowback has already been guaranteed. Michael would have seen Assyria as an enemy purely on the basis that the natural gas pipeline, if stalled, if canceled, would deal a blow to Russia, his foe. Therefore, attack. The imperial mindset automatically multiplies enemies. The federal government of the United States can squirm, feint, dodge, preach, and pontificate, but it has set itself up as a crime family. All that remain are the details. There will be war. There will be enemies. The elasticity of conquest has limits. At some point, the connections snap and the structure and the supply lines collapse. Sir, here is a blueprint of the entire Middle East. You can apply all its data to Africa as well. We can destabilize virtually every nation in the Middle East. We can set ethnic group against ethnic group. We can topple dictators. We can bring on long nights of chaos. For a while, we can let the homegrown crazies rule there. Then we can step in and take over with our elite financial partners. We can own these countries by rescuing them. We can destroy Barzini and the 5 crime families. We can take over New York and the whole East Coast and expand our activities into Las Vegas. We can finance legitimate businesses. No one will be able to challenge us. Sitting in the wings, waiting, is America's greatest enemy. These men appear to be allies. In certain ventures they are, but they see farther. They know more. They're more calm. They are the globalists, and the destruction of this country is on their planetary agenda. They see the U.S. as the U.S. government sees Iraq or Libya. They want America to go to war again and again. They understand how war weakens a country, destabilizes it, bankrupts it, saps its spirit. like the forces of evil in Italy who were waiting for Michael Corleone to make his move and expand his empire into that region so they could spring their trap. The globalists are watching the machinations of the U.S. government, are drawing it closer to the flame where the temperature burns the moth who is obsessed by the false light. Well, that's just one of John Rappaport's articles, which I feel is pretty interesting today. All right, nice to see a few more people in the chat room. Hi, Gary. Hi, Sunflower, Anons. Welcome. The call-in number, should you like to share your opinion, is 877-342-6673. Now, again, know that the total cost of these wars since 2001 is $11.26 million. And think about what that money really goes for. Murder, death, destruction, gas, sarin gas, whether or not that was even used in Syria. Now you see pictures of crisis actors. The questions come, where are the dead animals, the cats and dogs? Where is the pain seen on their faces? I mean, why do we even have crisis actors? Why can we even argue about whether or not murder is immoral? I'd like to hear from anybody who tells me murder is not immoral, especially the murder of innocents, as in 50 innocent people for one accused person with a drone strike by someone sitting in the United States and giving other people literally the finger of death. What's it about? It's about our acquiescence. It's about our inability to look in the mirror at ourselves and ask the tough questions because of our self-vested interests. We live in a nice house. Our children go to a nice school. Really? Really? Does the house belong to you? No. Are you listed as a tenant? You bet you are. Are you subject to any rules that the federal government may deign to change in order to knock on your door and tell you what you can and cannot do on your own property? Or maybe you'll be killed by a SWAT team. Actually, so let's go here. This is a recent article by John Stossel. Actually, it looks though like we're going to be due for a commercial break. Brett, I'm not hearing the music in the background, but the timing looks like a break right now. So I will put this on pause and come back with his article. It is titled "Beware Warrior Cops." And I'm definitely on the war path today, not maybe quite so much as I was the last program where I blasted poor old Sherry Edwards. I called her afterwards, and she says that they are doing things to help. They formed a co-op with their employees. They buy food in bulk. They share it with each other. They are working together. Aha, and now I'm finding out we don't have a break at the 17 anymore. Okay, well, in that case, back to the article here. Thank you, Gary. I see that too. Okay, so from John Stossel, beware warrior cops. We need police to catch murderers, thieves, and con men, and so we give them special power, the power to use force on others. Sadly, today's police use that power to invade people's homes over accusations of trivial, non-violent offenses, like being late on your student loan payment, which is another scam to get your children into thousands of dollars in debt so they can work at a McDonald's. And it keeps them occupied as well, so they're not thinking about what's really going on. They're not learning about morality. They're learning to obey and pay. Back to the article. Accusations of trivial, non-violent offenses, and they often come in with tanks, battering rams, and armor that you'd expect on battlefields. In his book, Rise of the Warrior Cop, Radley Balco recounts the rise of the police SWAT teams, SWAT standing for Special Weapons and Tactics, armed with heavy military equipment. SWAT raids began as rarely used methods of dealing with violent situations like hostage takings, but government always grows. In the 1970s, there were about 300 SWAT raids per year. As of 2005, says Balco, 100 to 150 per day. Do you get that, folks? 100 to 150 SWAT team raids a day in this country. What began as a few specialized groups of police trained to address genuine threats to safety has degenerated into small armies descending on Organic farmers, where farmers sell unpasteurized milk. How dare they sell something healthy? Where they sell unpasteurized milk, and legal medical marijuana dispensaries getting raided as if they were heavily armed threats. On the marijuana, we have marijuana receptors in our bodies, all throughout our bodies. Marijuana is actually good for us, especially when used medically. You don't have to get high. You can use the marijuana juice or the marijuana or hemp oil. And hemp and marijuana are different strains of the same plant. However, marijuana also decalcifies the pineal gland, which is our spiritual center, which is our third eye. So, of course, they don't want you to be smoking it. Now, back to the article. The increase began under Nixon-era politicians who wanted to look tough on crime, even if that meant exaggerating the threat posed by illegal drugs. As the feudal war on drugs escalated, cops worried that drug users would destroy evidence if cops knocked and announced themselves. Yeah, I have to stop here too. Right, the drug users are going to destroy maybe a bag of pot. Maybe they got a couple ounces around. And we certainly don't want them to have the opportunity to do that, because we'd rather crucify them and send our soldiers over to guard the frackin' poppy fields in Afghanistan. Come on. And we wonder why 22 of them die a day after being chewed up and spit out on the streets. We wonder why they have nightmares and PTSD. We wonder why we spend so much on this. We wonder, actually, why our children have to fight. Well, it's because we don't stand up and tell them, no, murder is immoral. Suggesting murdering innocent people in order to resolve a problem is also so ludicrous, it's abso-frackin-lutely crazy. It is crazy. We live in insane times. I'm not so sure this is the best time to be alive. When I hear about all the people in the New Age movement, of which I am definitely interested, they're still talking about, here, sign up for my program and pay me $100 and I'll teach you how to be wealthy in the future. Well, my question again to you is, how can we prosper knowing that other people are dying every day on our dime? How can we be so blind now, especially with the amping up of these atrocities, with the lies, knowing our government is the largest drug running organization on the planet? Right next to gun running. How about pornography and pedophilia that we don't even want to look at? Bush Sr. is a documented pedophile in many areas, especially you talk to Kathy O'Brien. Cheney, a pedophile. Look at these people. Come on, folks. What the hell are we doing? Here, Gary says it costs about $60K a year to keep a pot smoker in jail. Would be cheaper to get them a room at Motel 6 and provide them all the dope and pizza they want. You bet. All right, back to the article. Okay, so they're worried about the little pot smokers in their homes being able to get rid of the evidence. So instead of so they have changed a centuries-old rule that treated citizens' homes as their castles. Castles whose owners must be presented with a warrant before the police can enter. Well, not any longer. Soon every police department wanted a SWAT team, and many were more interested in getting cool military gear than in considering the potential downside, like terrorizing innocent people, raiding the wrong house, and causing violence. I found over 50 cases where a completely innocent person was killed in one of these raids, says Balco. Often this happens because the homeowner does not realize who is breaking down his door in the middle of the night. So if you happen to be sleeping, and God forbid someone is breaking into your house and you actually pick up a gun because you know your right to defend yourself and you go downstairs, you'll be shot dead in your own home by the frackin' police department, who are no more than thugs. And it's time to call them out. Here I'm going to jump to actually another article right now. This appeared on the Huffington Post. It appeared actually on the June 19th of this year. I'll put the link in the chat room for those who are in the chat. And it's pretty aggravating as well. All right, want to make money on the drug war? Start a company that builds military equipment, then sell that gear to a local police department. Thanks to the generation-long trend toward more militarized police forces, there's now massive and growing markets for private companies to outfit your neighborhood cops with gear that's more appropriate for the battlefield. Some of this is decades-old news. For over 25 years, the Pentagon has been supplying surplus military equipment to police agencies across the country, largely in the name of fighting the drug war. In fact, as early as 1968, Congress passed a law authorizing the military to share gear with domestic police agencies. But it was in 1987 that Washington really formalized the practice, with a law instructing the Secretary of Defense and the U.S. Attorney General to notify law enforcement agencies each year about what surplus gear was available. The law established an office in the Pentagon specifically to facilitate such transfers, and Congress even set up an 800 number that sheriffs and police chiefs could call to inquire about the stuff they could get. The bill also instructed the General Services Administration to produce a catalog from which the police agencies could then make their Christmas lists. 10 years later, Congress passed the National Defense Authorization Security Act of 1997. Get that, folks? 1997. Not the actual date of September 11th, which is also coming up. And interestingly enough, one of the targets on September 11th was the Pentagon. And you know what? It just happened to be the same office that the people who were working in had all the knowledge of the dirty financial dealings of the Pentagon. What a surprise. And they'll tell you that there was no plane, and oh yeah, that's crazy if you don't think there's a plane. There are hosts out there who are still promoting that horse crap. If there was a plane, where's the wreckage? Where's the bodies? Look at the footage. All right. Well, I'm still going to be pissed off when we get back. 877-342-6673, back after these messages.
One of the many who suffer from issues related to angina pain, high blood pressure, congestive heart failure, unbalanced cholesterol, irregular heartbeat, or clogged arteries. There is a solution that doesn't involve expensive prescription drugs that only mask the problem and leave you with horrible side effects. If you are ready to live your life free of sickness, pain, and fear, live your life with increased vitality, energy, and youthfulness, and experience your body healing itself, then you're ready for Heart and Body Extract from Healthy Hearts Club. Heart and Body Extract has a 23-year proven track record of using certified organic herbs that make up an excellent formula to balance and support the heart and circulatory system. In as little as 2 weeks, you can feel amazing results when your 2-month supply of Heart and Body Extract today. Call 1-866-295-5305 or go to hbextract.com.
If you're taking 1, 2, 5, or more nutritional supplements every day, please stop. Simplify your supplementation with Bio Superfood, the most advanced nutritional whole food supplement you can buy. Men, women, children, and even Olympic athletes the world over have discovered Bio Superfood from BioAge.com and now take just one nutritional supplement instead of many. The Bio Superfood formulas are whole food products composed with 4 of the most nutrient-dense algae species found on Earth. Bio Superfood for the brain helps with focus, memory, clarity, and mood. Bio Superfood is a strong defender in the fight against radiation exposure. Bio Superfood has 0 toxicity, is safe, and has no contraindications whatsoever. Learn more and order your Bio Superfood formulas at BioAge.com. That's spelled BIOAGE.com, BioAge.com. Or you can call 877-288-9116. That's 877-288-9116. BioAge, the age of advanced organics.
Dr. Joe Schneller.
The efficacy that we're looking for, that we're going to prove, is that carnivore wakes up this immune system and makes it dominant.
Pastor Lindsey Williams.
I'm 77 years of age. I feel better than I did when I was in my 50s and 60s. I was so sick sick. I thought I was going to die. It relates to a product that you handle right here. Folks, you positively must, after this show, you've got to click on Carnivora. They must have it in their medicine cabinet.
That's CARNIVORA.com. Call 1-866-VENUS-FLY. That's 866-VENUS-FLY. 1-866-836-8735. That's 1-866-836-8735. Or visit CARNIVORA.com. That's carnivora.com and order now.
All right, I'm back now. We only have 2 breaks, which is pretty good. And I am really wondering, what do you folks think? I would love to hear from callers on this, 877-342-6673, especially if you disagree with me, because if we don't have a reason to strike, if you don't think we have a reason to strike, let me know. Because instead of waiting until the evil, lying, inbred, traitorous, eugenicist elites crash our system by the next false flag and put us at their mercy, would it not behoove us to prepare and step out of their system on our terms? September 15th is coming. There's time to get food and water and everything we need, folks. What's it worth to you to stop a war? What's it worth it to you to change your world so that we're not subject to this capitalist system? And here's another article. The 5 companies, the military-industrial complex, this was also last year in December. It says the 5 companies spent roughly $33 million lobbying during the first half of 2012, indicating a likely overall increase for 2012 as well. And I just want to run down some of these. Okay, Boeing is listed there. The registered lobbyist says of the first quarter of 2012 for Boeing, 25 traders, bribers. Let's call them what they are. A lobbyist is someone who bribes someone else, mainly our crappy-ass politicians, so that they'll pass legislation while exempting themselves from it and reaching deeper into our pockets. Okay, so Boeing also had 21 revolving door lobbyists. The amount spent on lobbying for Boeing since 2007 was $86.93 million. $86.93 million. The top congressional recipients of campaign contributions during the 2012 election cycle were Representative Buck McCoon, MC, capital Keon, a Republican in California. Next one listed is Ron Paul from Texas. Tell me that Ron Paul hasn't been compromised in his career as a politician. Next is Senator Maria Cantwell. She's a Democrat in Washington. The total dollars obligated to Boeing for Defense Department contracts in 2011 was $20.49 billion. Billion dollars. And then let's look at this next news as we are being pushed and squeezed and losing our money and losing our children. Look at what these traders are doing with our money. I gotta find the page now. I'm pissed off. If you can't tell. Okay, Boeing. Okay, let's see. General Dynamics. Registered lobbyists says the first quarter of 2012, they had 10. Revolving door lobbyists, 2. The amount spent on lobbying since 2007 that General Dynamics spent was $53.08 million. Their campaign contributions since 2008 were $4.79 million. The top congressional recipients of campaign contributions during the 2012 election were, hey, Buck McCoon again, the Republican. He's cleaning up in California. Senator Scott Brown, Republican of Maine. Representative Jim Langevin, a Democrat for Rhode Island. Total dollars obligated to General Dynamics for Defense Department contracts in 2011, $17.98 billion. And we wonder why we're broke. We wonder what's happening to our people. Again, the total cost of war since 2001, every hour, $11.26 million. $1 million. With this National Defense Authorization Security Act of 97, a portion of which created what is now known as the 1033 program. In that bill, Congress created the Law Enforcement Support Program, an agency headquartered in Fort Belvoir, Virginia, whose sole task is to make it easier for the Pentagon supplies to find their way to local police stations. In just its first 3 years, the office handled 3.4 million orders for Pentagon gear from 11,000 police agencies in all 50 states. By 2005, over 17,000 police agencies were serviced by the office. National Journal reported in 2000 that between 1997 and 1999, the office doled out $727 million worth of equipment, including 253 aircraft, 7,856 M16 rifles, and 181 grenade launchers. In the October 2011 edition of the program's monthly newsletter, motto, "From Warfighter to Crime Fighter." Get that? From warfighter to crime fighter, the office celebrated that it had given away a record $500 million in military gear in fiscal year 2011. So, what are you working for? What the hell are we working for? 877-342-6673. Okay, now my husband says we're working to feed our families. That's true. But if they take up to 57 cents out of every tax dollar for the military-industrial complex, what are we feeding them other than lies? GMO bullcrap food that's bad for them. We're paying for the vaccines that's bad for them. And I'd like to ask listeners, tell me where the government is doing a good job. Where? Also, tell me, what are we working for when our true jobs, are they not to be good stewards of this planet and our families? What are we working for? They're stealing our money for this. Good men and women wearing uniforms have turned into drones who follow immoral orders because they're brainwashed into the lie of inequality and the lie of giving their power away to someone else because they don't feel they're worthy, and I say horse crap. We're dying, slowly. Every single solitary day, the United States government is taking more and more from us because they are the military arm of the New World Order. That's right. Headed there in the District of Columbia with its own rules, regulations, and armies. They don't pay taxes, just like their other two counterparts, the financial head in London and the spiritual head in the Vatican, all three of which have Egyptian obelisks. Isn't that interesting? And isn't it interesting how they can tell us lie after lie after lie after lie, and we continue to live our lives as usual? We overlook, in my lifetime, with the exception of my mother, who did look into the Kennedy assassination, my father swallowed the lie and didn't want to look any further. How many of us believe the government story? How many of us believe that we need to follow a fracking government with like a less than 9% approval rating of Congress? What is wrong with us? What is wrong with us? Well, how about we've lost our morality and we've been seduced by other religions to believe that we only live one time. You better do everything right so you can go report to God when you're dead. And if you're someone who's been told you get 72 virgins when you die, hey, well, that's incentive. My question is, what did those 72 virgins do wrong to end up with an asshole like that? You know, you want to strap a bomb to yourself and kill a bunch of innocent people and think that you're doing something good? Well, the innocent people who need to die, why don't you go to a session of Congress? You know, they're not innocent people. No, I'm not talking about blowing up the Congress. What I'd like to do is blow up their lies. Because bullies need to have people who are kissing their butts and following their order and taking their money. And all the money that we're earning that's taken in taxes is used to do just that. You want Hillary for president in 2016? Give me a break. Give me a break. And what would happen if we stayed home and said, no more war. I refuse to work until all troops are sent to their home countries to help hold those accountable who brought us here and to rebuild. All right, got a break coming up now. I guess I'm not hearing it very much. I'll be right back to rant after this.
Keep up the great work. And the list goes on and on. Guys, it's time to make seedsnow.com an integral part of your long-term preparedness strategy. Please call them at 877-344-4669. That number again, 877-344-4669. Or better yet, visit them today at seedsnow.com.
Is what you are currently doing to relieve your pain working for you? Do you have chronic pain in your knees, your elbows, your joints, your back, your muscles? Have you tried going to the doctors and the naturopathic doctors, the back cracks, the motions, the potions, the lotions, and nothing seems to really last? There's a new product called a placebo enhancer. Now, don't laugh. The name is to avoid tyranny from the drug cartels that want to keep everybody on a leash. This product is advanced science. It's cutting edge. It's quantum physics-based, energy-infused liquid suspension with a transdermal magnesium applicant. You spray a couple sprays on where it hurts, and that's all you have to do, and within 20 minutes it's in every one of your cells. Go to painsucks.info and get the information. That's painsucks.info. Again, you can get a free trial bottle. Just pay shipping and handling at painsucks.info. Your pain isn't going to go away on its own, so get your trial bottle immediately. Painsucks.info.
Charlie McGrath of WideAwakeNews.com here with a question from my friends at Austin Rare Coins and Bullion. What do they know that we don't? Insiders and a who's who list of elite have made it crystal clear that we are headed for catastrophe, putting out warning after warning, urging people to batten down the hatches. Billionaire George Soros has recently been dumping stocks and at the same time acquiring millions in gold. In fact, in a recent interview, he was quoted as saying, "I'm not here to cheer you up. The situation is as serious and difficult as I've experienced in my career." Out of control government deficit spending and a Federal Reserve that's only solution seems to be print more fiat currency will lead to a weaker dollar and massive inflation on necessity items such as energy and food. If you have wealth to protect, please visit my friends at Austin Rare Coins and Bullion. Gabe Elton and the folks at Austin Rare Coins and Bullion have many Wide Awake News customers because they're honest, they're fair, and they won't sell you paper promises or product they do not have. Call Gabe Elton at 800-552-4109. That number again, 800-552-4109, or visit them online at austincoins.com.
Make a promise, take a vow, trust your feelings, it's easy now. Understand the voice within and feel a change already beginning. Whoa.
All right, listen to that voice within. What's it telling you? I mean, yeah, we are fighting stupidity by the masses. There are mountains of ignorance out there where people are not really connecting the dots. Good people. I refuse to believe that we're all just waiting to rip everybody off. We're brought into this world and trained into poverty consciousness. We should be born into families who have at least 2 hectares of land, or live in cooperatives where they enjoy that and they work together. But we should be born on our own land. If you like the city, okay, I can see the city has a real appeal, especially for young people. When you get older, man, living in the country is a wonderful thing. I cannot even imagine living in the city again. We go into Roseburg, and it's New World Order. Cameras are coming. We had a couple of people killed here who were arrested by the police. These police are totally out of line and out of hand, and they need to listen to David Icke talking about the uniform having power, because obviously they don't. And the women out there now, I want to talk to the women out there, the mothers, the sisters, the wives, the daughters. You know, what are the men in your life doing? If they are harming others every day when they go to work, how can you stay in that relationship? If they're willing to take an order and SWAT team the wrong possible house, if they're willing to kick in a door because they think they look cool with all their black gear, if they're that lame and then they bring home their blood money to give to you after destroying a house and walking away from it, how many people are really killed? You heard in this article at least 50. Well, if you look it up more now, and I didn't look it up more, but this is a recent article from our local paper. If over 50 cases, completely innocent people are killed, isn't that a reason to stop this? We are enabling the very instruments of our own demise by our acquiescence, by our silence. You know, if we want things to change, if someone lives on a block where it's a completely fraudulent, mistaken break-in that happens down the street, which also could be from a jealous girlfriend, maybe somebody decided to dump her and try someone else. So, oh yeah, let me call up and say, I think they're a terrorist. You know, without any proof whatsoever, to kick in a home in the middle of the night, to shoot dogs, family pets, because they can. This is not the American dream. This is the American frackin' nightmare, and unless we wake up and stand together, we're just as guilty by ignoring it. We've got to be speaking about this with our families, and we can't listen anymore to, oh, don't mess up my tea. Oh, I don't want to hear about this. Oh, you're ruining my dinner. Yeah, well, what about the Syrians who are bombed? They don't have a choice of where to go to dinner anymore. What about the Libyans and the seaport? What about that fracked up, obese, gargantuan monstrosity Clinton laughing about Gaddafi's death? Come on. Come on. What are we really doing? And wouldn't it be better if we're going to crash this system, which we could do by the power of our numbers and our money and our withdrawal from this system and our refusal to go along with it, why don't we do it the same day? Why can't we get on the same page? And if right now, if you're afraid to call in sick to work, well, if you work for a Raytheon or a Halliburton or the military-industrial complex, I understand how you could be afraid. You should be very afraid of what you are doing to enable this. You should be afraid of following immoral orders. You want to think about the afterlife and what happens? Well, I don't think you're going to end up with 72 virgins on your hands. I don't necessarily believe in hell. I think we're creating it here. But I do believe that there's accountability. And until we realize we are one people, and it doesn't matter what color we are, what age we are one people. And when we refuse to look over and acknowledge that others, that our brothers and sisters, fathers and mothers, sons and daughters are being murdered by the state, until we stand as one people and understand there's enough water to go around, there's free energy if the military-industrial complex didn't keep it and steal it from us. Now, if you work in the military, aren't you ashamed of yourself? And obviously, many are because of the high rates of suicide, because of the drug taking. You know, and do you want a way out? Well, how about spreading the word of UnitedWeStrike.com? How about understanding that if millions of us stepped back on the 15th and we did it at the same time, we would have power. Otherwise, we'll be taken down individually. And we don't want to be SWAT teamed, and we don't want to be part of a SWAT team. But what else are we going to expect if we ignore the raids? If a raid happens on your street to an innocent person, that's when everyone in the community needs to step out, everyone on the block, instead of cowering behind their doors. Don't just let one person walk out. Everyone needs to walk out and stand on their front door or open their front door and start filming. Each and every one of you needs to film. And then also we all need to show up at the courthouse the next day Or that same day if it's early enough in the day, or if it's in the middle of the night, can you really sleep knowing you could be next? And this is America? And now we just so blithely talk about, oh yeah, well, should we go to war to Syria? Hey, well, the war profiteers will make money. We've been lied into every damn war we've had. Every war we've had. Think about that too. If you were alive 500 years ago and you were lucky enough to be on your own property, that would only last until some other brainwashed bullshit person came dressed in a uniform to murder you and take your sons and daughters as well as your property. So we can train the young ones to be slaves and we kill the older ones and we hope that we're building a better world. Well, we're not. And I am ashamed of my country. And I am not a citizen. I totally renounce anything to do with this government because I don't work for criminals willingly. I am not an accomplice to murder willingly. And Hillary is a male homosexual trapped in a female body. Well, smart, I think you're on the right track, but I think she's more of a monstrosity than that. And yes, I'm still pissed off. I'm very pissed off. So now I have to get over my pissed offness because it'll affect my water too. But I have my water here, and I know that we are more. And I know that if we want that shifting consciousness that we've all been waiting for, it won't happen until we unite and take a stand as one and say no more war. And what is that worth to you? Well, obviously, it wasn't worth picking up the phone today to call in. Gary, I know you're working. I appreciate your comments in the chat room. I can't always look at the chat room because I'm trying to read and think about the thoughts that hopefully will be cohesive. But understand, water has memory, which is another reason why they put fluoride in it. They don't want you to remember your true essence, which is a child of the divine creation, no better, no worse than the other creations. We are connected. We are one people. And it will take our networking energy to bring this to a halt. And the more that we refuse to do that, the more we deserve what we collectively get. Now I'm going to be back on Friday ranting again. My regular time is moving to Wednesdays. Charlie is lining up the schedule. There are also a few other surprises we may have in store for you. However, on Friday, I would love to hear your calls on this because the government also takes out insurance policies on us. And we're worth more to them dead. They gamble with us on the stock markets. You're sold into that the minute you're born with your birth certificate. So let's step back from that right now. And the clip, Brett, if you could start playing that in the background. This is a clip actually to release fear and guilt. And as long as we are not willing accomplices, we are doing something. If we're quiet and silent, we're enabling the dark. But we need to rise. And we need to do it together. We don't need to be stupid about it, and we don't need to be the only one on our block. We need to stand together. Brett, I don't know if you can hear me, but you should have an email with the music in there. There you go. I'll talk over it for a bit. This is releasing fear. You've got your water in front of you. We are 70 to 90% water during our lifetimes. If we can at least bless and heal the water we carry within, we will make better decisions. If we release our fear, if we understand, we go on from here. This is a short, limited time on this planet. Let us live fearlessly. Thank you all for listening. Please take this to heart. Take your water to heart. Know that you are more. Bless that water. Let it heal your heart, your mind, your thoughts. And know that September 15th is coming up. Take care. I'll be back on Friday.
bacteria, mold, yeast, and fungus, and keeping the human body healthy and strong. Now, you can give your body and your immune system a mega boost of disease-fighting oxygen with all-natural Oxy-C. With so many people now leading a sedentary indoor lifestyle, most are in a chronic state of oxygen deprivation, which sets up a perfect environment for disease, general fatigue, and a host of other symptoms. Oxy-C is yours in simple, convenient capsules. Nothing to mix, nothing to hassle with. Take it with juice or water anytime. Feel a cold or flu approaching? Have no energy or spark anymore? Try all-natural Oxy-C and prepare to be amazed. Oxy-C is only available from New Earth Health Solutions at Rense.com. Look for the New Earth banner at Rense.com.
In 2007, one man, Mike Dillard, made 5 predictions which forecasted the 2008 economic crisis and the pending Eurozone collapse. 3 brand new, shocking, must-watch videos with predictions for the coming year. www.the3videos.com. Over the past year, Mike Dillard has helped thousands of ordinary people create and recover wealth by tapping into the black box investing strategies the big banks don't want you to know about. www.the3videos.com. As the European banking system implodes and governments collapse at breakneck speeds, the next 12 months will be the most anticipated and important months in modern human history. This will make 2008 look like a walk in the park. Everyone will be affected. Go to www.the3videos.com now. Learn how to prepare your family and prosper during the global financial collapse.
You're listening to the Rense Radio Network, nationwide and worldwide on the net and at Rense.com.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. A resolution authorizing a U.S. military strike